Hey guys, you guys work hard for your money should be working hard for you. In today's video, we're going to be covering two accounts that are crucial to your financial plan. So what are these two accounts and why do you need them? So before you can even save and invest, you actually have to have a home for the money to be in. Money goes to where it's wanted. So if you give it a home to go, money will go there. And in a previous video, we already discussed the emergency fund, link in the description below. But this is the next level and the next step to your financial plan are these two accounts. So what are they? They are your short-term investment account and your retirement account. So let's start with the short-term account. The short-term account is money that's for future use that's not going to be used for at least 3 years. If you need it prior to 3 years, keep it in your savings account and don't invest. So what are the uses for this account? What is the money in this account going to be used for? Maybe you have a goal of putting your kids through college, or you've got that dream car you've always wanted. You want to put an addition on the house, or maybe you want to buy a second property, a beach house or an investment property, one of those things in the next 5-10 years or so, right? All of these things are after 3 years and they're bigger items. So this account gives you that ability to just dream a little bit and maybe even retire early. So definitely put some money in here. Now, the goal for this account is to have about 3 to about 7% rate of return. If you just keep your money in your checking account, it just doesn't grow for you, right? So this is designed to give a little bit of pop to your midterm or short-term savings. What you're going to want to do is consult an advisor to really help you put together a portfolio, mainly of bonds and more conservative investments, as well as dividend-paying stocks that are going to provide that little bit of extra income and a little bit of growth. You want as much stability in these types of accounts as possible, but still beating out inflation. So now the second account that we have is going to be the retirement account. Now, this account's pretty self-explanatory. It's designed for retirement. So when you approach the age of 59 and a half, you're allowed to withdraw this money from the account penalty-free. So now, what are the types of retirement accounts? Well, you can have retirement accounts through work, which would be like an example of a 401k, 403b, 457, maybe a SEPA, a simple IRA. So your work will really provide that account for you. And in a lot of times, they'll actually match, which is if you put in, say, $1, they'll put in $1 with you, up to a certain percentage, okay? So it's definitely an idea to take advantage of that if you can. The second type of retirement accounts are individual retirement accounts. Now there's two kinds, which we'll cover a little later in the video, but they are your traditional IRA and your Roth IRA. And experts recommend putting about 10% of your income going into these retirement accounts for future use, obviously retirement. The purpose is so you don't have to work when you're in your 70s and 80s. You can actually live off the money that you set aside early in order to retire. So let's talk about funding your retirement account for a second. When putting the money away, obviously experts recommend that 10%, like I said, but you want to put in, if your employer matches up to the match, and then anything outside of the match, if there's any left over, take and place in your individual retirement account. Now these accounts max out at a certain amount. So based off your age, they could be up to $6,000 or $7,000, depending if you're over 50 or not. They give you a little bit of a catch up for that. And that can change at any time, so make sure you consult your accountant and for the year that you're in when you're watching this video to find out what your contribution limits are. So after you've maxed out your retirement account, your individual retirement account, any money that you have left over into that 10 to 15%, you're gonna place back into your employer plan, and that way you're gonna be working toward maxing that out. So let's talk real quick about the two types of individual accounts. You have a traditional IRA and what's called the Roth IRA. The difference between the two mainly is how they're treated by taxation. When you put in money in your traditional IRA, you're putting it in pre-tax dollars. So that means that you can actually get a write-off that year on the money that you put into that account. As the account grows, it's gonna grow tax-free. And when you go to withdraw the money out of your traditional IRA, you're gonna pay taxes on those withdrawals. Also, when you hit 72 and a half, and that can change depending on the year you're watching this, the money that is taken out is forced to take out at 72 and a half because the government wants their taxes. So that's just, and it's called required minimum distributions. So that's something you just want to keep aware of. Now, with your Roth IRA, you're putting money into it after tax dollars. So you've already paid the taxes on it, there's no write-off. It grows tax-free, and every money you take out of it when you hit the retirement age, that money is tax-free when you take it out. So as big as it grows, doesn't matter, you're not gonna pay taxes on it at the end. So that's a very big advantage. And there's a little bit of restrictions based off of income on to which one you could use. So my recommendation is talk to your accountant and your licensed financial advisor in order to see which one of those is gonna fit your situation the best. So let's talk about funding these accounts for a second. If you can, start early. The earlier you start, the less money you'll actually have to put in to maximize the amount of money that you're gonna get. It's called the power of compound interest. I'm gonna do another video strictly on that later on. So if you wanna see that, put a comment in the comment below and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Now, so you wanna start early. That's the real big thing. But you also wanna factor your portfolio based off of your age and what your risk tolerance are and goals. So as you're younger, you're gonna wanna have a little bit more of an aggressive side, using more growth opportunity type stocks and mutual funds that carry those types of stocks. As you start to get older, you're gonna wanna have more of a balanced portfolio and moving more toward conservative investments. An example would be like bonds or bond mutual funds and dividend paying stocks. So definitely take a look at your age and what your risk tolerance are, and then that'll help you put together a portfolio. Now, the reality is I'm not giving you financial advice. This is really just to educate you, and that's the purpose of these videos. So before you make any investment decisions, make sure, again, I know I harp on this a lot, you consult a financial advisor or a licensed financial professional to help you along with these things. Don't just go onto Reddit and pick the next hot stock that they're pushing and talking about, or something another YouTuber says that they did really, really great in their portfolio with this XYZ stock or whatever it is. Make sure that you're seeking the right advice from the right people that are trained in this stuff. Just because somebody does it on YouTube or says it on Reddit doesn't necessarily make it a great idea. It might have worked for them, but a lot of times you're gambling and you don't want to gamble with your investments. Okay, so now that my little rant is over about seeking the proper advice, one of the things you should also do is automate everything. So helpful when you automate things because it gets done. And I know I've said that on previous videos, but really automation gets done. When you set up these accounts and you create a home, create a pathway in order for that money to get into. So some ways you can automate it is through your checking account, through what's called a pre-authorized checking, or direct deposit from your employer. You can actually have a piece of your check set into different accounts. And you can start with some accounts as little as $50 a month, $25 a month, depending on what platform you're using. So really just make sure that you make the process easy for yourself and you automate it. Check back frequently, meet back up with your advisors, make sure that you're going over it and looking into it, but don't do it every day. It's gonna drive you nuts. The market is so volatile, so when you're investing, make sure you're investing based off your goals for the long term or medium term. Don't just check it every single day and try to trade your mutual funds on a day trading basis. That's not gonna work for you, okay? Investing is long term. It's not get rich quick, it's not get rich quick. So make sure you're taking your time with it. So if you guys have been following along in our series of building your financial house, this is the last video of the series. So I'm gonna put a playlist below so that way you guys can check out all the videos in the series if this is your first time. thank you guys so much. I really appreciate the support from the channel so far. We just started off and we're already up to 50 subscribers at the recording of this video. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys watching, all your comments. Everybody that smashed the like button, please thank you and do that if you haven't. But really appreciate the support with the channel. This is a lot of fun, and it's really my way of giving back all the experience I've had over the last 10 years of being in the financial service world. So thank you guys again, and I really want to help more people, so help me push the channel to the next level and be able to help a lot of people. Thanks again, and we'll talk soon.